And what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the WeSportin Podcast. And today we're going to be reviewing and going over the Commanders free agency and doing a little mock draft as well. Day one of free agency, if you would have asked me after if this team was going to go anywhere, I would have told you absolutely not. We will not go anywhere. But Adam Peters, he woke up and he cooked throughout this free agency, and we're just going to go through some of the signings, give them some grades, and kind of just move over from there. And then we'll continue on to our mock draft 2.0, where me and Chris will do together mock draft. We will not do any trades, and we'll just kind of come up to a consensus pick depending on how the PFF mock draft falls. But going into our first signing, we have Odafe Oweh, who came from the Chargers, $25 million a year and getting around $68 million guaranteed for 4 years, over $100 million. I graded this one a B. I think that Odafe Oweh had a great season towards the second half of the year once the trade deadline came through. I wasn't a big fan of the big contract that he was given, but as it's kind of settled down and who they brought in to kind of help out around him and whatnot, I like the contract better. I graded it a B, but Chris, what did you grade it?
I graded a B minus, and the reason I graded a B minus, just like Nico said, the contract. Odafe Oweh, his first couple years, he had a double-digit sack season with the Ravens, I believe. But other than that, like, he wasn't really a factor. That's why the Ravens chose to move on from him. Then he went to the Chargers. He had a nice stretch towards the end of the last season. But I feel like the price we gave him was pretty hefty for the production he's put up in his time in the NFL so far. This is one of the signings where you sign somebody off of what they projected to do going forward. And I hope that he reaches the projection that we paid him. So I'm a little bit nervous about the contract, but they did work the cap situation well. So I like it. So B minus.
Yeah, out of all the things that AP has done this offseason, I really liked how he looked at Odafe Oweh. He broke down that contract and basically saying his cap hit's not going to be enormous until about the final year of it. So it gives a little more leeway throughout Jaden's time there. So obviously we're going to keep mentioning Jaden throughout this video just for the fact that he's on that rookie contract and Adam Peters is trying to, divert all the money until the final couple of years of their deals, which is really nice for them. But now moving on we're going to go to one of Jaden's best friends, Rachaad White. I think this was the worst kept secret throughout all of free agency that Rachaad White was going to sign with the Commanders. I gave it a B minus. Listen, Rachaad White's a great player. I think he's a great 1-2 punch. I think if him and Bill get on that same page, this will be a great deal down the line. Only getting him for 1 year, $2 million. You cannot beat that for the kind of production that Rachaad White has given us. I'm looking at this as more of a Austin Eckler replacement, third down. He can also carry the ball really well too. So I gave it a B minus just on the fact that, he is 26, 27 years old. He is going to – what his role is going to be is kind of be a third down back. I'm just a little concerned on the talent-wise because, White can be efficient and inefficient, but maybe, the potential will be there and we get him at a steal for 1 year, $2 million. Chris, what are you feeling?
I feel like I gave him a B, first of all. I feel like a lot of our fans underrating this signing. I feel like a lot of people kind of disrespected Rachaad White and think that he's just on the team due to him being Jaden Daniels' friend. Rachaad White is one of the better pass-catching backs in the NFL, so I think he definitely deserved more respect. We got him for the cheap due to him being Jaden Daniels' best friend, and I think it was a nothing you can go wrong with signing. So, I think he's gonna have an impact on the team.
Yeah, for sure. And you can't beat 1 year, $2 million for a guy who almost puts up 800 rushing and receiving yards, throughout his time in Tampa Bay. Now moving on to my favorite signing of the offseason, Commanders went out and signed Leo Chenal for 3 years, $25 million, linebacker from the Chiefs or whatnot. Now, Adam Peters got young at this position at linebacker. Finally, it took him only 2 years, but he finally did it. I gave this an A minus. I think Leo Chenal is really, really talented. I know that his pass coverage is a little questionable, but his run defending is phenomenal. The guy graded out on almost anything statistically for run defense, came at the top of the middle linebackers, while being on the pass one was a little low. I think they're really going to bank on Maggie and him being the premier top linebackers in the game. Maybe they bring back Bobby Wagner. I don't know. Now I would be more comfortable bringing Bobby Wagner back just to have that veteranship, especially to teach Leo, to teach Maggie more. I gave it an A minus, so I think you got a steal of a deal. You got him for 3 years, and he's a younger player, which is another thing that's going to be the main trend throughout this entire video is just youth. But Chris, I see you gave him an A. Why'd you give him the A?
All right, yeah. So I had gave Leo Chenal an A. I was pretty excited. It was a funny story about how we knew we was gonna sign Leo Chenal. We're not gonna bring that up, but we definitely But I definitely like that we got younger at this position, faster at this position, also more importantly faster than Bobby Wagner. His pass coverage is nothing to be excited about, but I do think he can grow there, and I think he's one of my favorite signings. So I give it an A. And the price was beautiful. I seen a lot of Chiefs fans upset about it. A lot of fans saying that this is going to be a deal where we look back and he's going to become one of our favorite players, and it's going to look like in a couple of years, how did he even go for this cheap? So I'm looking for he play next season.
Yeah, and definitely youth. I mean, him and Maggie, they're going to be great, especially Maggie being the really good fast coverage linebacker. And then you're going to have a guy like Leo Chanel, who's going to be that really good run stopping guy. So I'm really liking the balance there at the position. Next, now we're going to go to the head scratcher because I'm still scratching the head at it. Amik Robertson, 2 years, $16 million, nickel defensive back from the Detroit Lions. Signed him for $8 million a year. Not hating it. I was a big hater of it at first. And kind of looking at it now, I'm kind of seeing what they're doing and how they're constructing the DB room. They're going to put Mikey on the outside along with Trey Amos, and they're going to have Amik Robertson playing in the middle. Where back in Detroit, Amik Robertson was playing on the outside, guarding guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, we all seen the clips all over Twitter. Amik Robertson, like I said, I think he was just put in a really tough situation where he had to go and guard the ones when that really wasn't his, that wasn't the way he was supposed to play in the NFL. He's not supposed to be guarding the number ones. He's supposed to be guarding just the fastest guy down the field. He does give off a little Noah Ingabagami, like kind of
vibe. Not his name, but yeah.
Bro, you know what I'm trying to say, bro. He gives off the vibes because he does penalize. He has a lot of penalties on his rep too. He's just very aggressive, very handsy, which can come down the line and be kind of a bad thing or a good thing. But I don't hate the signing now. I'm more warmed up to it. I've given it a C- just because of who he is and what he has done. But if he goes back to the slot where he was really thriving in Las Vegas, then we might be getting a really nice DB in return. And especially, again, he's also kind of young too. I believe he's only 27, 28 years old. You cannot beat that. So I gave it a C-, but it may be something I'm going to have to warm up to down the line. Chris?
So obviously he was our first signing of free agency, if I remember correctly. And it was just, coming into free agency, hearing that we're going to like go crazy and it was going to be fireworks. It was just pretty annoying to see that Amik Robertson was our first signing. He graded terribly last season. He was terrible last season. He was in a rough, like you said, a rough situation last season with all the injuries they had in the secondary. He was forced to do things that shouldn't really be asked to do. I think that as long as they could find a fit for him in this system, if we give him Mikey a second chance, we can give him a second chance too. So I'm gonna give him a fresh slate, and we'll see what he do here. Because I remember a couple years ago, we picked up Ronald Darby. Ronald Darby was known for getting toasted across the league, and he came here for a season and actually put up a pretty good season and got paid. So you never know what these guys will do in different systems. So we'll see what he got to do with the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like you said too, it doesn't always hurt to get new scenery, and we've seen that with a lot of players who have left the Commanders and went to somewhere better and have just turned out to be either really, really good or really, really bad. But moving on now to the next player that we got in free agency, which was actually one of the players we had in the original video, was Clavon Chasen from the New England Patriots, 1 year, $12 million. A lot of Patriot fans were really upset about this, just on the fact that the Patriots couldn't even match that because the Patriots have almost done slim to none in free agency, and losing a guy like Clavon Chasen, who I'm going to say it again, top guy in quarterback pressures, got to the QB a lot, created issues. I think him and Odafe Owe are going to really benefit off of one another. Only having him for a year, I wish we would have brought him in for 2 years or more. I really hope this is one of these contracts where we bring him in for a year, and then like midway through the season, AP's like, wow, like this guy's actually a stud. We got to lock him up for another couple of years. That's what I'm really hoping for. He's young, he's athletic, he's fast. He was a guy that got a second opportunity elsewhere, and he thrived on it. So I'm really hoping, again, he can come in here, take another opportunity, and be here for the long haul. I gave it an A-, and I really like this signing a lot.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, he was on both of our free agency want lists. He was even better once I went to go deeper dive into his season last year. He was even better than I had first thought. I just put him on my list because he was an edge rusher. We need an edge rusher, but he was amazing in the playoffs against CJ Stroud and the Chargers. And just overall he put up in big moments in the playoffs last season, and I hope he didn't just get a little money grab and he's gonna fall off this season. I hope that he puts up, because it is a 1 year deal, so it's still like a prove it deal. And I hope it's a situation like you said where mid-season we give him an extension, because it's only a 1 year deal. I wish we'd have got the 2 year deal like we did with a lot of the other players, like Nick Cross. We got a 2 year deal with, I believe. But that's why I still think there's a chance that we could go edge rushers due to the fact that the Odafe Owe is the only one that we wrapped up for multiple years. But we're going to get in that later in the video.
Yeah. I mean, and you're noticing a lot of these guys that we brought in real quick. I'm just going to say this. A lot of these guys are fast dudes. And this is really what Jones or DC has really been talking about. He said he wants to blitz. He wants to set the pressure. He wants to send the pressure. And right now with a lot of these signings that they're bringing in is a lot of guys with speed and that are fast and that can be able to come off the edges either way. So I'm really liking so far how they're trying to kind of morphing up this defense a little bit. And a lot of these signings have really shown how much trust they have in Jones, and I'm liking it a lot. Now, our next signing, I think this is my only A+, I believe. Yeah, my only A+. Chikakonkwo from the Tennessee Titans, 3 years, $30 million. You got it. That is an A+ home run. You got him for a steal for $10 million a year. You can't beat it. This guy, Chikakonkwo, now people are saying he can't block. If you're a Washington fan, you know that blocking tight ends is something that we have. If there's one thing that the Commanders have, it is a tight end that can fucking block. Right. And that is what John Bates is in it. But getting a guy like Chikakonkwo, who is number one, he's young. He can get yards after the catch. Now, I love Zach Ertz to death, but Zach Ertz his time is up, man. And like, he was not able to run after the catch that much. We barely seen him do it. And now we got a guy like Chikakonkwo who can finally do that. A guy who can move, a guy who can create. People are saying that he's not even a tight end. He's a wide receiver. So maybe a guy like him could line up in the slot. I mean, you can use this guy anywhere you want, and he will be great for us. I love the signing a lot. I don't know why Tennessee wasn't aggressive on him. They must think that Gunnar Helm is something better. I don't know what they're thinking, but getting a guy like Chikakonkwo for 3 years, he's 26, Maryland made, and for only $10 million, I'll take it. That's my A+ pick for this entire video, and I'm really happy we got him.
Right. Yeah, so I agree with pretty much everything you said there, and I'm really excited to see what Chikakonkwo can do. I hope we get more pieces around him. But I think, yeah, he's definitely a guy that's quick enough, fast enough, and good enough after the catch to be used in the slot as a receiver and plays on some plays due to how good he is with the ball in his hands. It's a huge upgrade when it comes to yards after catch from Zach Ertz. That was the only problem I had with Zach Ertz, because Zach Ertz, he was beautiful. He was a wonderful tight end in the red zone, but you can't move after the catch. It's like we even lost the game unironically due to him not being able to move after the catch versus the Steelers that one game. So it just shows how much that does matter at the end of the day. So I'm glad that we finally got somebody that can move after the catch.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing too, I mean, for Jaden Daniels' sake too, I mean, him and JD had a connection. Him and Zach had a great connection his rookie year. So imagine now a guy whose route running is 10 years younger and a guy who can able to be a huge red zone target. I mean, the sky's the limit for what him and Jaden can do, so I'm really excited to see that. Now for kind of the reunion pickup, as the Commanders also signed Tim Settle Jr. from I believe he was from the Texans last year to a 3-year, $24 million deal. At the beginning of this, I had it at a B-. I wasn't a fan of him coming here. I just feel like the D tackle room has way too much money into it. You got Payne making almost damn near $28 million a year. You got Kinlaw making 15. Johnny Newton going to want a contract soon. And then you got Tim Settle now who's making around $8 million. I feel like that's a lot of room in this. And I gave it generously a B-. If this guy wasn't talented and skilled enough, I would have given it a C+, maybe a C, but just I think that the room is very overcrowded right now. So I mean, Tim Settle Jr., maybe his reps come in different waves, but I gave it a B-. I know he's a skill guy. I know he's really good on the run. He sheds blocks like no other. I just think that this is a very deep room, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that room down the line. If that means it's setting up Payne to leave and then making kind of Newton and Tim Settle the 1-2 guys, I don't know, but I'm really hoping that there's a plan down the line in this defensive tackle room.
Yeah. As far as Tim Settle, I love Tim Settle. I've loved Tim Settle as a player. He's always been a good guy. He loves the fan base. He's from Virginia, hometown guy. He's a great player. He's been wonderful depth for his whole career. He's been a wonderful depth. Sheds blocks, stops the run. And then you can't go wrong with somebody that's great depth and we're going to stop the run. Because last year we couldn't stop the run at all. So you can't go wrong with somebody that's going to stop the run. We struggled stopping the run with almost any defensive tackle or edge rusher on our team last year. Yeah. I do think that Payne's on the way out soon. So him getting a 3-year deal gives you a little bit of space for when Payne leaves. Now you're going to have to find somebody that's going to come in. You're still going to have to find another guy. But as far as Tim Settle, I would be fine even if Tim Settle was a starter. But having Tim Settle as depth, that's what made me give it a B+.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Now, moving on now to another signing. It was almost an A. It was almost an A plus. I promise you it was. But getting Nick Cross, 2 years, 14 mil. Now, this was a guy that when I got the notification on my phone, I had to look twice because a guy who's young, who's fast, a guy who hits, a safety who's actually talented and who could tackle. Getting a guy like that was absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't got to watch Quant Martin on my screen every down anymore. I get a guy like Nick Cross now who is fast. A lot of Indianapolis fans were completely upset at the fact that they didn't sign him back. And he is super talented, super young too. And you can't beat a guy who's only making $7 million a year for 2 year, $14 million. You cannot beat that. I give it an A just because I only reason I didn't give it an A plus, man, because we're the Commanders. And if I say it's A plus, he's gonna be ass. So that's the reason why I didn't give him an A. But this guy is a dog.
Yeah, I also hope he's not one of those guys that get here and forget how to play. But Nick Cross, another hometown kid, another kid that's wanted to be here since the draft. He talked about how much he wanted to be a Commander. And I like those guys that really talk about wanting to join the Commanders because obviously we haven't been so good over the last couple of years. So just having a lot of the players that want to come play for the team, it makes me respect them a lot more. Him growing up a fan makes me respect him a lot more. And he's a great player. He's always at the ball. And Colts fans were really upset about losing him. So I'm really excited for Nick Cross. And we locked him down for 2 years. So that made me – I didn't have it graded on here, but I definitely gave it an A.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I already know I'm going to get hate for this, bro, but I don't care. We got De'Ami Brown coming back to the Commanders. Now, listen, bro, Chris gave me slack all free agency beforehand about bringing back – why are you so obsessed over De'Ami Brown, this, and that? And I'm going to say it again. De'Ami Brown was a guy who got separation on our team, bro. If you really look, when he left, bro, we were one of the worst teams in separation. De'Ami Brown made that a little bit better. He was fast, and he can win in man coverage, and he can win in zone coverage too. You were not seeing Debo even doing that. You're not seeing Luke McCaffrey ever barely doing that nowadays. I just like De'Ami Brown because he's a fast threat. You can throw him a go ball down deep. We've seen it in man coverage with him and Jaden. I don't know I don't care if you think he's not good, if he's not great. We've seen him succeed with Jaden. I think having a nice guy coming right back to, especially when you were succeeding the most in your rookie season, helped him get a contract. Now he's back. I don't really hate this pick. I hope we get Ayuk. And whenever the 49ers are done being petty about Ayuk, we'll get Ayuk in. And I'm going to really like our wide receiver core a lot going into next season. But I really like it. I gave it a B because he's coming back home. And I really like De'Ami Brown a lot. But I know Chris wasn't a big fan of it.
All right, so as far as De'Ami Brown, the reason I didn't want De'Ami Brown back is it just feels like we either A, moving backwards, or B, just going down the same line. Now, the good things about De'Ami Brown, he's still young, he's still fast, and he still got a good connection with Jaden Daniels. And if Jaden Daniels like him, I mean, who are we not to like it? But it's just like I feel like we're going down the same path. He had played with us like 4 seasons. He only had like about maybe I could probably count on one hand how many good games he's actually had. But I'm not a hater of De'Ami Brown. I want to see De'Ami Brown succeed. I remember when we first drafted him, I was a big fan of his. But it's just like he hasn't shown much in 5 years for me to be really excited about him coming back. I just feel like it was kind of like a move where we just kind of went backwards for a second. But at the same time, I don't know if he's better or not better than Debo because, Debo couldn't separate or nothing. But at the same time, Debo still put up way more yards than him, even without not being able to separate. So I don't know, bro. I don't know how to feel about the De'Ami Brown signing. Kind of just like 50 about it.
I will say, I think what we saw also in the past, and I could be wrong too, but back then, going from like 2021 when De'Ami Brown was drafted to now, I mean, he was also in a wide receiver room, and I'm not going to say a great receiver room, but he was kind of in the back of the line for a little bit with Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson. He was the receiver for, so him getting looks to get in the game weren't going to be as consistent. And you're saying, well, he could have beaten guys out or whatnot, but what Ron Rivera looked at and what Ron Rivera saw is what he looked at and what he saw. And then the 1 year where De'Ami Brown was the wide receiver too, he didn't play great, but he was more than serviceable for sure. I could say at least. I mean, without De'Ami Brown, we probably did the Lions games way closer with him not in the game. So I mean, I like De'Ami Brown. It's a reliable source for us. He's coming back, and I'm more happy about it than anybody. But this next one, I'm not happy about it at all. I don't know why the hell he even came to the team. It low-key ruined the De'Ami Brown signing. I don't know if you could even possibly do that. But Van Jefferson came to the Commanders on a 1-year deal. I really don't get why we did that. Like, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Like, I know our wide receiver room is not the greatest and most good-looking thing of all time, bro. But like Van Jefferson does not make it any more better looking or better or any worse, bro. I gave it a C minus just because I don't want to be an asshole and give him a D plus. But I gave him a C minus just for the courtesy of the fact that he could be good down the line. I don't know, but I wasn't a big fan, but I know he was solid in the Rams. So I mean that's the only reason why I gave him a C minus.
I'm not gonna sit here up and wrap much time up about Van Jefferson. I gave him like a C minus or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's fast. He hasn't had really much good seasons. He's old. He's probably not gonna make the team. He's probably like Michael Gallup was last year, where we kind of like felt some type of way about Michael Gallup, but I kind of feel better about Michael Gallup, giving Michael Gallup a chance. Him, I'm just like, but yeah.
Yeah. There really ain't much to say about Van fucking Jefferson and the 2.5 or the 2.6. I mean, so moving on now, we are going to be doing our very own mock draft. I know if y'all been looking at Chris's mock draft Mondays or mock draft every day, you know
mock draft every day.
Yeah, mock draft every day is what Chris likes to do. So we're going to do a little mock draft of our own, kind of bounce off some ideas that we both believe in. And if we're not fans of it, we'll just I'm not rock, paper, scissors and this shit over the damn podcast, buddy. So if you like somebody and I don't, then whatever. All right, so I'm going to start it off. We're just going to kind of go with the draft order, and the draft order fell as followed, with Fernando going number 1, Ruben Bain 2, Sonny Styles 3, Arvell Reese 4, Caleb Downs 5, and Jeremiah Love 6 to the Browns. Now, that is low-key unrealistic as hell, but I'm just going to go off of what the draft order does. So a couple names here that obviously I know that you've seen Chris and all that. He posts all the time about these players and all that, but he's a big guy on Cardinal Tate. I'm a fan of Tate too. I'm really a fan of a lot of these guys on the board, but Chris, I mean, in this spot, who would you go with?
Man, this one's tough. I like David Bailey, obviously. I like Delane. Like we talked about earlier with Bailey. We didn't wrap up. A lot of the guys that we did get in the D-line room was 1-year deals. So don't be surprised if I don't know if they really like Bailey, but I know they probably like Bain. So if Bain was here, then I would see them probably going Bain. I like Mansour Delane. I think our cornerback room is quietly one of the weakest on the team. And then Carnell Tate. So right here, I think it would boil down to Carnell Tate or Mansour Delane for me. And
it's tough, man. It's tough.
It's tough.
I kind of feel like I know who I would go with, but I want to hear like you first.
I'm kind of.
I think at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. They really did spend a lot of money. Not a lot of money, but I'm sorry. They did not spend a lot of money, but they spent money at receiver with Diami, and they got the Van Jefferson signing, and then they have Luke and they have Jalen Lane. And I think if they're going to bring in Brandon Ayuk, that is going to push them away from taking a wide receiver, in my opinion. That's just what I think, because knowing this team, they're really lazy on that kind of thing. So if they see that they have Terry, Brandon Ayuk, and Diami Brown, and Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, all of that, I don't think that they're not going to want to settle in on getting another wide receiver who's going to be kind of further on their depth chart. If it were me, I'd take Mansour Delane. I like Delane a lot more. And I think if you want a shutdown corner, if you want 2 shutdown DBs for at least 5 to 7 years, you have it with Trey and you got it with Delane.
And I think that to add on to that point, I think it's definitely more valuable to have an all-pro cornerback.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go Delane for this purpose.
Yeah. All right. But yeah. And again, Washington's at the point now where they can go best available, which is the best part. But now moving on now to round 3. Now, obviously in round 3, there's going to be a lot of names that either you don't know, but if you're a nerd and you do know, then good for you. Now, this is probably a spot where I would look at wide receiver here, and I think there's one here that I really like a lot, Zachariah Branch. Speedy wide receiver. This guy can move down the field. I don't know if he ran the 40. Did he not run the 40?
I think he did. I think he ran like 4.3, 4.4.
4.344, and that is extremely fast, and I like that a lot. I really like him a lot. I think if you want to wait a little bit and take a chance on a guy like CJ Daniels down in the later mock, you can. I don't like Surratt. Only reason why I have Surratt here is because if I like the guy on like 3rd and 4th down situations, his footwork is really nice, but his speed is not there. So I don't know if I'd really be like praying my team gets him. But just kind of looking at other positions we need too. You know, we do need a wide receiver. That is one thing. I also wouldn't hate like a safety here or, whatnot. I know you've been a big fan of Kamari Ramsey, right? I know that's probably somebody you've you've been watching a little bit of. So I don't really know here, but I would go wide receiver here. So where would you want to go here?
So yeah, here I would probably go wide receiver. I think maybe 140. I think even if they wait and go defense back to back, or go, I wouldn't go center this early, but if you go defense back to back, and let's say they take a safety here with Kamari Ramsey, we could maybe wait till 147 and try to get Malik Benson, who I know they've been talking to. But for the purpose of this mock, I like Zachariah Branch at this pick, or Ted Hurst. I've been looking at Ted Hurst. I'm gonna go ahead and endorse Ted Hurst right now on this podcast. I think if he really would have went to the real Georgia instead of Georgia Tech, bro, I think they would be looking at him like another George Pickens, man. Like, I really turned on his film last night. He's a long player. He's 6'3", and he got long strides. He's really fast. So I like Ted Hurst just due to the fact that I really think he has like some high-end wide receiver 2 potential at the very least. But Zachariah Branch is one of the is a guy that I think can mold into a perfect slot receiver. So if you want a perfect slot receiver, you could also go Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if we're gonna play the scenario that we have Brandon Ayuk on our team and whatnot, when, like I said, whenever this ends, I mean, if he's not on the team, he's not on the team. If he is, he is. I mean, is there a guy here you like that can play on the outside down here? I mean, like,
yeah. So I say, if we go into the thing where we think, they did say that Brandon Ayuk was going to get released maybe June 2nd. So if we're going off of that fact, like I said, I would go Ted Hurst. I think Ted Hurst, he's wonderful on the in the red zone. He can go up, jump a go ball, fade ball in the red zone, and he has nice run after the catch for somebody that's 6'3". So I would go Ted Hurst.
Let's go Ted Hurst. That's fine. I have not watched a lot of Ted Hurst, so I'm not going to really give an opinion on it. But looking at the size frame and looking at his kind of just base stats here, and man coverage too, the guy's a beast in it, and also contested catches too. He's pretty good on top of the fact that he's one of the higher rated guys going on the deep ball. So I'm going to take your pick here. I like Ted Hurst. I kind of like it. You're kind of selling me on a little bit. I'm going to have to watch my own film on it myself. Right. But now we're in round 5. So we've taken now a DB and we have taken a wide receiver. So now is it maybe time that we go and look at safety maybe?
Okay, so we have Michael Taffy. I like him. Lorenzo Styles, I think, is a little early for him.
Yeah.
Jalen Stroman's cool, but I think if we talking safety, Michael Taffy's a guy that I would go.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, so looking at it too, I know that this I know Jalen Stroman, I know he's also he's pretty underrated too. He's a dog as well, kind of a late round guy as well. And he's kind of comes on this, versatile thing that I like to, pull off, especially on the fact that I'm a guy who likes versatility on the defense. I think that that's kind of what Jones is going for in this draft. So I wouldn't be surprised by a lot of these picks if these guys play in different positions. But I'll take Taffy. I'll take your word on it too. I like him a lot as well. I need to really start watching film on these guys, but from what I've just kind of been seeing on either mock drafts or some of these guys is like film I've seen on like YouTube or whatnot. These guys are ballers, and a lot of these guys can do some really good things for us. So I don't mind taking him right now.
Yeah.
Now here, personally, this is I think we either got to go inside the offensive line, or we got to go maybe potentially linebacker.
Yeah, I think this is where they probably, because you're in the 6th round here. This is normally in my mocks where I go with the center. I know Miami has a center. Pat Coogan right here, Indiana center. That's normally one of the guys I take. Or trying to think of the other team I get a center from.
The Brailsford. He's somebody too that I've seen a lot too. That he's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's someone I like a lot.
One of the centers. I normally take one of the highest rated centers here.
So Pat Coogan, you're thinking? Yeah, that's fair. I've seen a lot of Parker Brailsford too, so it's kind of each to their own, but we'll take the highest rated center in this position right here. And I believe, we have 2 6th-round picks. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. Now I actually wouldn't hate here if we went kind of for like a Gene Baptist kind of guy too. Go and grab somebody in the 6th round here. Yeah. Get someone deep. I know TJ Guy out of Michigan. He's not too bad. He was a pretty good rotational edge and a really good edge too back there in Michigan. I know Logan Fano I know he's fast. I know he's super, super quick, and his pass rush win rate is pretty good as well. Those are really the 2 guys I've been looking at in these later rounds. Are these 2? I know there's Patrick Payton a little bit, but I don't know.
Go to linebacker.
Linebacker.
Yeah, back out of edge and go to linebacker.
All right.
I don't know why they still have Harold Perkins here, but obviously I'd go Harold Perkins, but we're not gonna pick him since it's just very unrealistic that he'll make the 209. But go back to edge. Like I said, I do like your opinion that we could go edge guy and try to bank on potential. I like Vincent Anthony Jr. out of Duke. He's a long edge rusher. You can make your own pick here if you want, but
I personally, and this might be a little bit of a reach at this pick, but I do like Logan Fano. I feel like at this rate in the draft, you really can't go off of really any reaches or go off of any projections. But I do like Logan Fano. He's super fast. He's a really fast dude. I know he might be a little bit. He's 6'5". I don't know what the average height for an edge is or what undersized is or underweight is. But I know this kid's pretty fast and he's a beast. And he was solid at Utah this past season. And he's somebody I've been watching too as an underrated guy. So I'm gonna go with Spencer here. And then I believe how many picks in the 7th round we got? We got one. So I mean, I don't want to take.
I like to just take a flyer on a running back. Normally I know they talked to Noah Whittington, which I actually took a look at Noah Whittington last night. I like him a lot.
He's a dog.
I think he's a sleeper. So I'll take Noah Whittington with our last pick, and I think that if we don't get Jeremiah Love, this is a guy that can sneak onto the roster and be really good with Bill and Rashad White.
Yeah, another running back too I like, and obviously everybody knows here I'm a big Indiana guy, a big Indiana hater. I apologize, but one guy I do like, Roman Hemby, bro. That dude is a beast, man. I mean, this guy was dragging people on the ground, bro. Yeah. And the dude's he's a dog, dude. I mean, the guy rushed for over 1,100 last year, scoring 7 TDs, can get a little bit involved in the pass game, nothing too crazy, but he's a guy that could really drag people to the ground. But Noah Whittington and a guy who's on a team with running back committee was an absolute dog. I mean, the way that he burst and he can read the gaps and whatnot and his vision, I like it a lot. So I like
some keep return ability. So
yeah, which is something that this team apparently struggles with a lot when they don't need to, but whatever. But now this will be kind of our draft, our little mock draft that we just did. I think this is a great draft. A lot of they graded it a C+. I feel like if we did this would be somewhat of an actual good draft in my opinion. Are you expecting more picks kind of down that line? Do you expect we get a pick before this or no?
Like you saying, do we like add on to the picks we have?
Yeah, like a second rounder.
I mean, if we trade back in the first round, which I don't want to do, I think the picks we have, like the guys we took, I feel like we filled in some. You got Mansour Delane, he should be able to fill in day one. You got Ted Hurst, he should be able to fill in as your wide receiver 3-4-ish. And Michael Taffy, as long as you can get the guy and the first 3 guys to be starters, maybe. Yeah. I feel like it's still a good draft. And then you got Noah Whittington, who can come in and be a running back 3. So I feel like this is still a good draft with the 6 picks you have. I'm not really a fan of trading back because you might miss out on one of the blue chip talents, and we don't have a lot of blue chip talent outside of Terry Tunzel and Jaden.
Yeah.
So I would stay where we at, but I wouldn't be surprised if they move back. I'm just not a fan of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, at the end of the day, this team is going to aim for versatility, and I think that's something that we have to be open to in the draft. I would love Mansour Delane, but man, like the other day, Chris texted me, he's like, bro, what if we took O-line, bro? And I was just like, bro, don't even put that shit out in the universe, bro. Don't even say that shit, bro. But other than that, man, I appreciate everybody for watching today. I think we did a great job of what we did, and I'm really happy that we were able to discuss the grades and whatnot. And the next time you probably see us, it's going to be we'll do one more of these before the draft starts, and then we'll just give our final picks if we're like really locked in and we kind of realize who's going to go where and play it off of that. But make sure you guys check out Chris. He's putting out every scenario that imaginable we can do at 7 every single day. I've seen things happen in those mock drafts. I'm like, how the hell did even that get there? But who cares, bro? But make sure you follow Chris and make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, and thank you guys so much.